Adding pure maple syrup to your breakfast is a warm way to start your morning, but making the sticky wonder we cover our pancakes in isn't just tapping trees. But one local producer doesn't mind the work because the result is always sweet.
So raw sap out of a tree is 2% sugar, 98% water.
Pure maple syrup?
All you're doing is you're starting with raw sap, you're evaporating the water out of the sap.
Is maple syrup. But it's not the same as ones you might find for a little over $1 at a big box store.
It takes about 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of syrup.
It's straight from the tree.
Typically, the quicker you can take it from the tree and process it into syrup, you'll have a lot better quality product.
Onto your breakfast.
You could go to a different producer and you're getting still pure maple syrup. It may taste a little different. It all depends on freshness of sap, maybe the quality of cleanness.
Owner of Knapp Hills Sugar Bush, Todd Thompson, grew up tapping and cooking syrup the old-fashioned way.
And we tapped up behind the cooker, and it just ran down the hill. Actually, back then we gathered with buckets and pails yet. Yeah, up on them steep side hills.
Now he's upgraded, adding this pressurized cooker to his process.
This machine, if I start with raw sap out of the tree, 2% sugar, it'll actually take it to about 20% concentrate. Season average last year for us was, I think, 34 some gallons of syrup per hour.
And a new way to harvest that crystal clear liquid maple trees produce.
This is one of the many sugar bushes Thompson uses to tap trees. Now, to reduce on labor, he uses an intricate piping system to collect that sap.
You drill that hole, you're getting the sap that's typically that runs above and below that hole.
But even though it's easier now than when he was 5 years old, he doesn't mind putting effort into what he says has now become a time-consuming hobby.
Just because I cook for 8 or 10 hours, this thing gets all tore apart daily, clean. I mean, I get usually down here, my hours are probably 5 a.m. till 7, 8 o'clock at night or later. You know, it could be 9 or 10 at night.
A hobby that is as unpredictable as western Wisconsin weather.
Traditionally, I would say probably your first boil would be about March 17th to about maybe mid-April. Nowadays, if you waited till about the third week of March, your season could be about half done. Nowadays with the warm weather, you have to stay ahead of it. And it's always a guessing game because if you go out and drill all those tap holes too early, they say sometimes they'll dry up on you. So it'd be kind of like getting a cut on your arm. You want that tap hole to produce much sap and be fresh as possible.
The pandemic has also had an impact on Thompson's business. He says he usually buys plastic from a specific seller, but that producer had a fire and unfortunately burned down. And now he can't find containers to bottle the syrup that aren't made of glass because the plastic is being used to make syringes.